Marcus, that's seagulls. Do you hear seagulls?
That's so weird, considering where we are.
Yeah, why are there seagulls?
I don't know. We're nowhere near the coast.
Welcome. Yeah. I don't normally hear seagulls, but that was, as soon as I clicked record, there were seagulls. Marcus, welcome to Together Run. I didn't even look at the number, 36. Marcus is here with me, friends, and this is actually the first Together Run I've done with someone as a whole. So you are going to be my test guinea pig, but also the pressure is on for you to nail this.
Okay.
So don't feel too much stress. Okay, so Marcus does know what a Together Run is, thankfully. When I had Nick Willis come alongside me once, he was like, "What is a Together Run?" And I was like, "Oh, don't really have time to explain this right now, but I'll try." But anyway, so you know what it is. We always start. So you're going to start with me. You're going to do the things with me. Okay. We haven't planned this, by the way, friends. So let's actually walk up the top of the road. Marcus has kindly come to my parents' house in St Albans. And I can't remember. I was trying to explain to my parents. I was like, he's from like Surrey or Swindon. And they were like, well, those are two totally different places. And I was like, and I don't know if that's it. So where are you based in England?
I'm still based in North London. I'm only like a couple of kilometres away from you now.
But what was the name of the area?
Do you know, like near Barnet ways?
Barnet, yes. Yeah. Okay, so Marcus is near Barnet. I don't remember you saying Barnet. Now they're going to be really annoyed at me. They're like, you said Surrey and Swindon. Anyway, Marcus has kindly come to me. It is New Year's morning of 2022, and we are about to go out for our run. Do you see a soul in sight?
I can't see any seagulls either, to be honest.
No seagulls, no people. We might as well be out here on our own in the world. It's 8 a.m, I should add.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to start a Together Run, but we always start by touching some element of nature. So find something. I'm going to put my hand straight up into the tree. Marcus is also touching a tree. Okay, are you ready to go for a Together Run?
Ready to go.
Let's go this way, because it's less hilly to start with.
Okay.
Oh, there's some wind. Okay, ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, and 1. So this is our first time running together, our first time meeting in person. This is the first run I've done with anyone in a month, at least. So, and this is your first run post-booster.
Yeah.
And the first run is 2022.
Yeah.
So we have a lot going on here. But I felt like you were the perfect person to do this with. And Marcus has been on the podcast, so after this episode, if you haven't already listened to that, you can go listen to his episode, Marcus Brown. And I've also been on your life. I've also been on your podcast. So do you want to tell them a bit about A Runner's Life podcast just before we get started in the regular stuff?
Yeah, so I started this pretty much as we went into lockdown in the UK as a way to connect with people and really just to learn from other runners and other people. And it's really developed into something where, like, for now, like, we need to connect with Tina and other people and just go over runs with people, and I think that's a really cool thing about it. Yeah,
it's definitely, I mean, you've got an impressive lineup of guests for someone who's only started in the pandemic. Yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. I've talked about it before. And yeah, so you've got your podcast. I've been explaining to people when they were saying to me, oh, who are you running with? I'm like, oh, my friend Marcus. And they're like, who is he? And I'm like, well, he's kind of like the equivalent of me over here. Like, he's got a podcast, he does running stuff, he really motivates people with the stuff he shares. He's a tracksmith nut like me. And so people are like, oh, okay. And would you say, or am I really offending you by saying that?
No.
Would you say we're kind of like equivalents in the different countries?
Well, it's definitely at some levels, but definitely some other levels probably not. Like your level of running, for sure.
Okay, well, in the past,
yeah.
Because yes, tomorrow Marcus is going to do a 13-mile run.
Yeah.
At 6:20, what did you say, 6:27? 6:29 pace.
Yeah.
And so when he said he was going to do like a hard session, a hard workout, I was like, oh, maybe I can join. And then he said that, and I was like, no, not a chance. I could do maybe 2 miles at that speed. So maybe in the past I would have been, but I wouldn't say now. But yeah, so...
I think it'd be my windbreaker for tomorrow, though. That would have been cool.
Well, I'm not sure now you see my height, I would have been the best windbreaker, would I?
True.
My hair might grab some of the resistance. But yeah, so we can talk a bit more about you and your journey, and yeah, just get into some other things later in the run. And I'm taking you on one of my favourite loops to do.
Yeah.
Which I think is 8 miles. So you said an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can cut off a few minutes if we need to.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and make this work.
Cool.
But always begin these runs by doing a body scan. Thanks. And so, do you feel like you've listened to enough to be comfortable to try it?
I think, yeah, you lead me through it.
You want me to lead it?
If you lead me through it, it's all good.
Okay, and you're going to follow along?
Yeah.
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't done a together run before, together run is, we always start by doing a body scan, which means we are going to start from the top of our heads and scan our way down through our bodies, just checking in with each part that I call out. Also, you might notice other parts that either feel tight or stiff or feel good or whatever.
Yeah.
And just gonna, probably take a minute to go through. I will guide you through it, and we will start when I say go in just a minute. So first, Marcus, I'm going to tell you we're going to cross. God, it's so quiet.
It's
very surreal. There's a few people around.
It almost feels like you're getting a head start with the day, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
It feels like you're getting up before everyone else is.
Well, especially on New Year's Day when, like, everyone's like, ugh.
It's like central, isn't it? You see, like, music and parties. And, there was a pandemic still happening, right?
Yep. Okay. All right, so we're ready to begin with the body scan?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, starting... This is weird, having someone with me, like, it's surreal. Okay, starting from the top of your head, working your way down into your eyes. If you're scrunching your eyes, relax them right now. Going through the nose, back of the head, coming round to the front, into your jaw. If your jaw is tense, just relax it. Coming down through the back of your neck, the front of your neck, going into your shoulders, going through into your arms, the upper arm, the elbow, lower arm, wrist, and working your way through into your fingers. And then coming back into the torso, going to work through your chest, into your stomach, going into the hips and pelvis, and working your way down into your legs, going through the top of your thigh, going into your knee, feeling those hamstrings if you notice them, going into the calf and shin, your ankle and your arch, the top of your foot, and finally into your toes. So Marcus says I actually have someone to ask today.
Yeah.
When you did that, how's your body feeling?
It feels good, but you're consciously aware of all these parts, really.
Yeah. Do you think that's a practice you would ever do? Not like maybe a scan, but do you tend to check in with your body?
Yeah, with like daily meditation for sure. But when I'm not running.
So you do meditation every day? Like, are you one of those like don't miss a day?
Sometimes I do miss days because obviously with kids,
kids.
Life and stuff. But on the whole, I've got it set in my diary.
Yep.
And I've got like a daily meditation I go through just to work through the body and just to think about, just get your mind focused on the priorities.
Yeah.
The day, really.
And do you do that first thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in such a good rhythm for like a year.
Yeah.
And I just totally fell off.
Yeah.
Haven't managed to get it back yet. And I refuse to make it a thing that I begin today because I feel like then I'm just setting myself up for failure.
It's the pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
New year, new you.
I know. Don't even get me started on that topic. Okay, so that's physically.
Yeah.
And as much as you're comfortable to share, I suppose I should respond with the physically. Physically, I feel pretty good. I didn't run yesterday, so feeling pretty fresh and haven't really done anything hard in about 5 days, so I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, so then if I were to ask you mentally and emotionally, how are you feeling? What would you say to that?
No, I'm feeling in a good space, to be honest. I felt like it was a nice New Year's Eve, pretty relaxed with the kids and my wife. But in terms of my general self, I'm feeling good. I'm sort of coming back from having this booster jab, so my heart rates have been a little bit elevated. So I've had quite a few rest days. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like when you've actually rested.
Do you mind that?
In the past I probably would have done, but now you just know that your body needs time to recover. Uh-huh. So you're not actually going to lose anything by taking a couple of days out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's actually quite nice to feel half normal again. You know, it's like when you've been training for ages and you just feel like the Tin Man. And you're like, oh my gosh, my legs actually can move.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite nice.
Yeah. And as we're here, are you thinking about anything going into this year?
Probably the race I'm thinking about is Seville in February.
Okay.
And yeah, that's got a lot of my focus at the moment.
Okay. So you spend a lot of time just like considering your choices in your life to really make that the best it can be?
I just think, whereas before I might have been like time.
Uh-huh.
You kind of realise that you can't really control that as much. Like you can be like, yeah, I'm going to do this time, but you just don't know. So I'm just trying to make sure that each day I do the best I can get.
Yeah.
Start line in the best shape. Then whatever the marathon gods give me on the day, I'm just going to have to take it. You know?
And I know that London this year was a tough one for you. Do you think that was the one that really solidified it in for you, that message of like you can't control things?
London's a funny one because like I ran like 3 hours 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, you must be so disappointed. I'm like, really? It's like...
Oh, sorry, I've just added to that.
You know, it's like... It's funny because it's not, because it's still my fastest London today. But first time in the marathon I ran 4:55, so everything's a bonus. If you can do that on a bad day, it's good. But yeah. So some things didn't work, and you listen back to kind of what you could work on, and so I think I've definitely learned from that. Yeah.
Were you at stomach up? Was it stomach upset?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like something that, you know, that's a good example of something where you can be as fit as you like.
Yeah.
But if that comes in, your ceiling is just immediately dropped.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, but I love that perspective there. And good for us all going into this year. And we're thinking about things like that.
Yeah. I think for me, for London as well, like, I had a period of time where, like, I had stomach issues. And the funny thing is, you probably had this as well, I got to mile 20, and actually it was faster than my sub-3 time at that point. And I think two things. One, feeling really rough. And I think I also kind of switched off slightly, which you can't really do at mile 20.
Yeah.
You need to kind of keep the foot on the gas as much as possible. But between that and feeling sick, kind of switched off. So those are definite learnings for the next time.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we've checked in. I suppose I feel like I'm like, hey, ask me about me, because I haven't talked about me yet. So I don't want it to seem like I have to talk about myself, but I also know when you're listening to something, you kind of want to hear both people. Yeah. So I'm going to take that step for a second. But mentally and emotionally, I would say I'm really just loving the fact that you and I are together right now. Like, you and I really connected, and there's a lot we have in common and a lot we talk about. And I really hoped that in this time, you know, you don't really ever know 100% you're going to be able to meet someone. Yeah. Because obviously COVID could strike at any time. but I'm really, feeling just like, and for last night I went to, I was with 6 of my friends from school who I just was laughing the whole way through the night, and it was just, I came back, just before midnight because one of my girls was not well, and both of them weren't really, and I felt bad my parents were having to deal with that, but they both have a cold, but I really just soaked up that moment, and I was really proud of myself for being in it and being like aware, like there was no inclination to like look at my phone or check in on things. I just was like 100% there and just grateful for it as I was doing it. So that's kind of how I'm still riding on that. I've got you and them, and so that was really, I'm just feeling quite good right now.
Because didn't you have a friend who was like an event, something happened and you couldn't come over because of COVID and loads of different things?
Oh yeah, no, one of those women that was there last night and her husband, also, both of them good friends. There was their wedding a few months ago, and she's one of my like best friends in the world, so that was hard, but that was a good last night, showing me that like I missed, she told me at the time like you miss one day but doesn't change our friendship, and so that solidified that again last night. So okay, so let's do our senses check-in. Do you remember what this is?
No.
Okay, so we're going to work through our 5 primary senses. I shouldn't say primary senses because I know like there's a lot of them that are just as important, but I don't know what else to call it. So the 5 we talk about the most. So we will end with sight because we overstimulate our eyes. But before we do that, I just want to draw Marcus's attention to our giant Christmas house in this town, which it's a smallish house, but they go for it every year. A lot of scaffolding trying to get their Christmas stuff up.
They're trying to help Santa get up there, isn't
If his sleigh breaks, they can climb the scaffolding. So I just wanted to, as we just happen to perfectly be timing past that house.
They've got 2 majors as well. So, they've got 2 majors as well, so Jesus has got like 2 options.
2 sides, yes. Maybe that reindeer can go up the other one. Okay, so we'll end with our sight. We're going to start with taste and touch, taste and smell. Then we'll go to hearing. Then we'll go to tactile, touch, and then we'll go to vision. So, I want you to take a nice deep breath, Marcus. Take one more. Okay, just to get us in the right place. What do you smell?
Leaves.
There are a lot of dead leaves around, or dying leaves. Although everything's very green here. I feel like back at home where I am, it's not so green. But it rains like 95% of the time I'm here. So that's not surprising.
How about yourself? What do you smell?
I really struggle with smell. I do smell leaves, but only really because you drew that. I feel like a lot of the time I'm just like, I don't know. I really, it's just like St Albans to me, like whatever that means. But it's I don't really know what to describe it as. Familiar? That's not really a descriptive word, but whatever. Okay, what do you taste? We're gonna go up here.
Good question. Probably the Morton water that I had beforehand in my mouth.
The Morton water, yeah. So you're a big fan of Morton. What ones do you like? I don't really know their stuff very well, but I know a lot of people love it.
Yeah, so there's like the drink mixer. So I had the half as well at 160 because it's an early morning run, but I didn't want to eat anything beforehand because it's quite a short run.
So 160 calories?
No, so it's about 40 grams of calories.
Okay.
So 40 grams of carbs, sorry.
Okay.
But I had half of it, so 20.
Okay.
Which is about half then hydrated as well.
Okay.
Nothing too big. It's because the labels are really, so...
Yeah. Okay, cool. And we're going to turn off into country road in a minute, so it's going to be... I'm hoping the sound is coming through fine. It usually does.
I wish I could give you more in-depth tapes than that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good at that either. I feel like toothpaste is my standard because I just brushed my teeth before I saw you. Colgate. There you go. Okay, so next we're going to do hearing. So this is where, for the listeners, we're going to give you 30 seconds or so where I will tell you to take your headphones out and you are just going to listen to your surroundings, and Marcus and I will do the same. And Marcus is sprinting away from me, so I don't know. He's obviously decided he doesn't want to run with me anymore. He's left me. No, he's getting around some twigs. These hedges are overgrown with sticks. Okay. Thank you for being so kind and not wanting to let me stab myself in the eye. And especially now we're in Holly. Okay. So we're just going to take those 30 seconds. So I ask you if it is safe to do so. Pull your headphones out and just take a listen. And we'll do the same right now. It's a bit weird when you're running alongside someone and you're just not talking. Okay, a few more seconds. Just finish up any listening. Or if you want to just listen to our surroundings. What do you hear? Okay. Maybe we could alternate in things that we hear to share. Okay. Yeah, you can go first. What did you hear?
The wind.
The wind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wind changing wind directions.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I heard my stomach go blop, blop. Did you hear that? The water. You know that water bouncing around sound?
Yeah.
I had a cup of tea before I left this morning. It's probably that good jumping around. Okay, what else?
The birds singing.
Yes, that was definitely clear. And then I could hear the faint sound of cars driving like in the distance. Just that noise that we most of the time blot out because we're just so used to hearing it.
Yeah.
Well, most of us are. But yeah, I could hear that. Anything else?
The sound of your breath as well. Mm-hmm. Like you have more mindful of where you're taking a shallow breath, how deep you're breathing.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And then I'll add to that, which is the obvious next one we hear, which is our footsteps, just running along. And yeah, anything else from you? I think that was about it.
That's it really.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Yeah, your pack maybe, the zips. But yeah, what did you hear on your run? Anything different to usual? Anything that kind of jumped out at you? Marcus, one day I was doing this, not the hearing part, but I was doing a together run and a dog jumped out of their house.
Nice.
And on the together run, people couldn't really hear it.
Yeah.
But I was so freaked out and just oh, I just need a minute. But it's funny, when you hear things that to people listening aren't that loud.
Yeah.
You are so on edge. It's like when you're on the phone, you're like, sorry, this ambulance is so loud, and you can't ever hear it as loud as you think. So that just reminded me of that. Okay, so next we're going to go for a sense of touch. We're all going to do this. You're just going to follow your the sensations, what jumps out to you within your body, inside, outside. What do you feel? So let's just take 30 seconds or so to all of us just pay attention to what we are feeling right now. kind of weird when you're doing an easy run and you're running along in silence.
Is it?
You know, you expect it when you're doing a hard thing, but it's like kind of a bit weird.
It is.
Okay, a few more seconds. Okay, we'll do the same again, Marcus.
Okay.
What did you feel?
So my thumb against, I guess, what my finger that is.
I don't know what that one is.
Your things between.
That's a pointer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the pointer finger and the connection between my thumb. Just that kind of the feel of your fingerprints, that kind of soft touch as well.
You're being very descriptive. I like it. I'm like, I feel my arm. No. I think, yeah, I did. Actually, that was the first thing that I feel is the kind of, I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt and it's probably just about warm enough for that. And I can feel the kind of cold air against my, I never know, is this bicep?
Yeah.
Bicep.
The guns.
The guns. Yeah. Okay. What else?
I'd say, like, your muscles, sort of, your calf muscles almost feels like it's like extending and contracting type feel as you're going on the road.
Yep.
Those kind of subtle feelings of the release and the go.
Yeah. That's a good one. I never think about that one. Okay, I can feel my phone in my hand. While this is easy for me at this point, it still kind of digs into my fingers.
Yeah.
So I can feel it.
Yeah.
All right, what about you?
As my feet strike the ground, it's kind of like transition from the heel to the forefoot.
Yep.
How your toes feel as you kind of pop off the ground.
Good one. Yeah, I'll go again while I'm in front. I feel my watch, just it still feels a little bit cold on my wrist. Just gently shifting up and down. Maybe do one more, then we can switch.
Yeah, it's the weather as well. It's really mild for December.
Yes.
I had my gloves on, I took them off, and you can sort of feel that kind of cool but still warmness in the air.
This is kind of perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Like I would say, not for maybe a race, but for running in general, this is kind of perfect weather.
Yeah.
Okay, our final sense we are going to do today. Oh, in our 30-minute group, I only have 2.5 minutes left. So I'll let you go. What do you see?
See a bridge.
A bridge?
We're
going under it. Yep. Oh, and there's a car. Ideally, we don't want to get run over. Okay, what else?
See an open road, really.
Yep.
Long open road. Fields, trees. Just space, really.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favourite stretches because it is quiet and it kind of... That's one thing I do like about where I live. I don't know how that is for you, but I can, be within 5 minutes, be out in fields like this.
Yeah.
Yet St Albans is like a sausage that's got too much stuffed in it with the amount of people in the town. It's just crammed. Yeah, you can still get to this. Right now, see if in 10 years whether they've built all over it, but for now...
I could probably tell the whole picture of the hot dog, all the condiments as well.
No, but if you want to tell that story, you can. Here, look, one more sea thing. What do you see over there?
Sun.
The sun. And what about the white things? Did you see them? Look, over there.
Oh, sheep.
Sheep.
I didn't even see them, to be honest. I was just so focused on the road.
Well, that's good. That's always a good thing as a runner. Okay,
that
friends.
Sounds so cheesy, doesn't it, to be honest? All I could see was the runners.
I used to do that when I was running at the elite level, but I'd say that was not a good thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't care that I'm running past the Big Ben, I want to get to the finish. Okay, so that's our census check-in. Right, so we only have 30-minute group. You have about 30 seconds left. So Marcus, in about 30 seconds, the 30-minute group will walk.
Yeah.
We will give them about a minute, and then we're going to do 2 strides.
Okay.
Mid-run, just 10 to 15 seconds.
Okay.
If you take off without me,
okay.
You can just walk and wait for me.
Okay.
And then we'll continue on.
Okay.
So, anything else when you get to 30-minute, friends, just take your walk, and then I'll tell you when it's time to do strides. And everyone else can just keep running. Anything else that you want to update us on that's happened in the last few days or weeks, or something that's kind of, like you said, about Seville, but what else? Anything else on your mind?
I think it's that time of the year where, you know, everyone's susceptible to all these sort of influencer type programs of like, you know, sign up to this system, do this, you know, change this, change that. It's like, you don't really need to change too much.
Yeah.
It's like, in this day, you know, there's so much like pressure put on it.
Yeah.
It should be like that every day.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we just don't even like love ourselves with what we are, and life passes us by because we're so focused on looking way too far ahead in the future. Sometimes we just need to be like, look, right now is really cool. I'm not going to get this back. Try and make the best of it.
Yeah, love that. That's you know, a great thing for people to keep in mind going into this year, because we are all, as you said, bombarded with messages of you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Change yourself. So
new you. What's wrong with the current me?
Exactly.
That's what.
And with it, although I say this to people quite a lot. Like, one of my aunts always calls herself stupid. I'm like, you are not stupid. That was not a stupid thing to say. That was a perfectly normal. And I always give her this, like, you need to love yourself, and I love you, and I wish you could see what we all see.
Yeah.
And it makes people so uncomfortable because they're so used to that, like, just messaging.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So we're going to do just a stride.
Okay.
So you ready? We're just going to go straight into it.
Okay.
Okay. So friends, if you haven't done a stride before, we're just doing 10 to 15 seconds, about 80% of your max. Do not sprint, and do not try and stride, take big steps. You're just increasing your cadence. All right. So unfortunately, we're going to be going around a corner, but we're good with cars, I think. All right. So 3, 2, and 1. Going down a hill. Okay, and come into a jog or a walk. Oh, that smells. Oh, what was that?
Horses.
If you're in a 30-minute group, you can walk. Oh, I felt like that went in my lungs. And if you're in the 45 or 60, you can keep going. Oh, there's some horses nice and close to us. Okay, we'll take another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll actually look, Marcus, look how perfect that is. Do you take it? Let's all stop and take our picture now, and then we'll do our stride, because that's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is pretty cool.
So actually, with you here, I can have a photo, because normally I can't.
You do a selfie.
Well, I can't because of the recording.
No, I'll do one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold the mic up just to be, people will be like, what is that weird girl doing? And everyone else, take your picture of what you see. It doesn't matter how beautiful or not it is. We want to see you and what you're up to. Okay, we took ours. Right, ready to get going again?
Yeah.
And we are going to go pretty much straight into our stride. So, everyone ready? Good. 3, 2, and 1. And coming to a jog or a walk. 30-minute crew, thank you so much for joining us. Marcus, anything you want to say to them?
No, thank you for joining us on a New Year's Day run.
Yeah.
Hope you have a fantastic day.
Yeah. All right, friends, we'll see you soon. Okay, and now everyone else is still with us. Okay, so this is normally where I get into the conversation piece, where I just talk about something.
Okay.
But maybe this time we can talk a little bit about, I don't know, what element of your running journey, you know, you've been on a lot of podcasts, you share a lot of your story. What things have you maybe not talked about? Maybe it is this new you thing, but that you've kind of always wanted to expand on a little bit more. Is there anything that comes to mind? I can prompt if you don't.
I mean, I guess where I am now, it's probably the most pertinent area, I'd say. Kind of once you've broken sub 3, after a while, you kind of get into this kind of dead space, it feels like. So kind of working my way through that. It sounds like a really first world problem in the sense of like, oh my, boo-hoo me type thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, where do you go from there and next?
Uh-huh.
How much more can you take off? And you don't want to get... No, I've fallen in the trap as well. See other people like, I've done this time, now I'm going to do 10 minutes more or 50 minutes. And running in life just doesn't work that way. So I had to kind of... That was definitely apparent in London. So that's why when I head to Seville, I'm not kind of putting out there, but like, hey everyone, I'm going to do journey to sub da-da-da-da. Because life doesn't work that way.
Yeah. When you say that, why do you say... You mean in terms of just a race, or you mean in terms of just phases of life? Like, we're going to let this car pass and then I'll let him respond. We're in a one lane road. Okay.
Yeah. So, repeat the question, sorry?
So, what is it that makes you say that, like about phases of life, rather than... We talked earlier about controlling the race itself. You can't control that, but like, what do you mean by life doesn't work that way?
There's a great quote, I'm going to butcher it. It's kind of like, to the mind of the beginner, the options are many, but to the mind of the master, the options are few.
Yeah.
So, it's more so just knowing that there will be some changes, but I'm not going to expect massive changes each time myself. All I can do is just keep showing up, doing the right things, and, you know, that will take care of itself. I don't want it to sound like wishy-washy, like I don't care and I'm not trying, but it's almost like trying to stop willing or trying to control something you can't control.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then two things with that.
Yeah.
One, for someone who's saying or thinking, okay, well, that's great you saying that's sub 3, but I'm at sub 4, or I'm at sub 4.5, or I'm at a 27-minute 5K. Well, you can say that, but that's ridiculously fast, so of course you're going to say that. Yeah,
but I would also say, like, my first marathon was nearly 5 hours.
Yes.
So I know what it's like to go through all those periods of doubting, then making it happen, doubting and making it happen. So we just passed someone. But no, I can relate to it. It's definitely not easy, but I kind of stop putting that pressure on myself now. I think once you get to a point of, I don't know, I think for sub 3 is this ridiculously arbitrary number where people think, oh, now if you do that, then you're a proper marathoner. And after that, you're just like, what do I actually believe about it?
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of working my way into that. But regardless of what your time is, like, we all have those doubts. And, you know, we all think it's easy for other people. I mean, it took me 4 times to break sub 3.
Yeah.
If you think I was clicking my heels and doing my pep speeches every run, you must be lying, because the days I still want to do it. But, you know, just got to keep turning up.
Yeah. I think that's good, and a good reminder, because we can all get in that trap. And I appreciate your vulnerability there about, you know, getting to that point wasn't like you hit 3 and you immediately were like, okay, well, I'm good. I think we all go through that. Okay, what's next? Give me the next thing. And then you have to work through that to figure out what it would be. And then the second thing, what was the second thing I was going to say there? I knew this was going to happen. This is the problem with these runs, is that you literally are real time. And so you do lose your trails of thought. Okay, so we were talking about your journey to kind of sub 3. We're going to go down here. Okay. We might have to... Wait, it was something in a totally different direction. Sub 3. I can't remember. So then this is the goal race without it being like a big serious thing of like a load of pressure, and if I don't do this then I'm a failure and this car is driving really slow.
I never feel like a failure. Even with London I never felt a failure.
That's good.
You know, like, I mean, like I said, it's my fastest time in that course. So, like, and I didn't quit, I didn't give up. So, I mean, you only feel, I guess, quote-unquote failure as if you completely stop. Mm-hmm. So I've not stopped. I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't have days that you don't want to run or you feel unmotivated and you don't want to do it.
Yep.
That's just part of the programme.
Yeah.
I mean, it really annoys me. You probably have the same thing. It's like, when you speak to people and they're like, yeah, I love running. I love it. I'm like, really? I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's aspects of it I do like, but I don't say, like, the majority of the time I love it. But then people kind of misinterpret that and think, oh, you're being really sour. I quite like the difficulty of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not enjoyable all the time.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, I mean, even on, like, the most enjoyable run, you're still going to look at your watch and be like, oh, wow, I've got 30 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
On that note, we're going to go up a decently steep hill here, but the views from the top are really cool. And that reminds me of what I was going to ask, which is, so I've been talking to some of my family since I've been here because, you know, they know what I was like when I was running at the top level and how much commitment that took on my end, but also on their end. I'm going to have to hold the mic a bit closer to you when you talk now because of the wind. Very strong here. Also on their end of what they had to give up. And so now I'm in this stage very much like you are, where I pick a race, I do it, I do my best, but I also am not like obsessing about everything. But for my family and friends, it's almost more difficult to understand because, like, when you're committing to a goal and you're going for it, you know, people get behind that. Like, even last night at the dinner, one of my friends was like, yeah, I'm going to do a half Ironman. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you know, day one begins tomorrow. And he signed up. And so, you know, everyone at the table was like, yeah, come on, Joe, you know, look. Yeah. But, like, for someone like me, coming from my background, or you being, you know, very serious, trying to get these really impressive times and then stepping back. Yeah. Not like, but you're not stepping back from the physical running, maybe a little bit, but it's hard for people to get their heads around that because now they're like, well, why are you doing it then? Like, my family a few times have been like, oh, so you're running like 6 days a week? I'm like, yeah. But they kind of are like, well, why? Yeah. So do you ever struggle with that?
That was like, if that question was a meal, it'd be like a massive roast dinner. I'm like, where do I tuck into?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You should know this of me by now. Don't do concise.
I think there's so much in it. I mean, I do train quite often per week, so it does go beyond the point of just being kind of something you do for fun. Yeah. Like, it has an impact on family, work, and there's something you've spoken about before as well. I do feel as well, sometimes you feel selfish for training, and the irony is that you have to be slightly selfish. It's a really hard balance to get right. It's like one of the things before London I didn't get quite right, and I probably got right in Dorney, was I could spend time away from my family. I feel like before a race I need to be left alone to kind of get into that mindset of, like, you're not going to war, but you're going into somewhere like deep and dark that you're gonna have to be in. Yeah. And it's hard to do that when you're at home, hugging your wife, kissing your kids. You got to go and race. Yeah. So that's another element of it. It's quite challenging as well. Yeah.
And I think that is the difficult thing that, like, I think most people listening, I know within the community there's been a lot of conversations about, you know, spouses who are like, I don't get this, why do you do this? Like, this isn't, you're not making money from this, you're not, you know, changing the world with this, so why do you need to do it? And especially for people who don't prioritise either their own healthcare or put their own physical health first. Like, especially as you said with kids, it's very easy for people to be like, well, when the kids are 15, then I'll exercise. Or 18. And so it's tough to know what... like, I feel like it can be difficult to explain
kind of like, what is the point type thing. Because
Yeah.
the way I am is like, I'm not elite, but I'm just under sub-elite.
Yeah.
The point of just being like, you're not making any money, but you're good enough to be locally competitive.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Because you're not making any money. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel the best version of myself. And people said this to me. It's like,
45-minute group, come to a walk. Keep going.
if you feel good in yourself, then you can show up better for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just about getting that balance right. It's communication. If I didn't communicate with my wife and stuff, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, this is Marcus's way, Owen's way.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. It's give and go.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Well, and actually, we were talking about that. So we'll do a stride in probably 30 seconds or a minute, okay? We were talking about that last night, about like Alex Honnold. Did you watch Free Solo?
No.
So he's the guy that free climbed these 3 peaks.
Yeah.
Or was it peaks? I can't remember their name. Passes, I think they're called. Just insane, like how much he scaled with no equipment.
Yeah.
But in it, he was very much like, to his, I think she was fiance or girlfriend, he was very much like, well, I'm doing this with or without you. Like, if you want to, like, you might need to just put your life aside for a minute while I'm doing mine. Like, and he kind of openly admits that he is just wired differently.
Yeah.
But it was clear that, like, you know, most people aren't going to have that relationship, or shouldn't have that relationship, where one person is like, sit on everything you want to do because I need to do mine.
Yeah.
And I would argue maybe I did that for a while.
Yeah.
But as you said, give and take, and trying to...
But that's before you had kids though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess if you had kids now, it's slightly different to be like, forget you, I'm going to, like, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. No, exactly right. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do another 2 strides. Same thing, 10 to 15 seconds. If you are in the 45-minute group, you can take a walk in between, and everyone else can keep going. So you ready, Marcus?
Yeah, ready to go.
3, 2, and 1. Okay, come to a jog or a walk. It's very windy up here.
It's really nice actually.
Yeah. I love running up here. And I did it the right way, because the other way, the hill is like ridiculously steep. It's actually where I do my, or used to do my hill reps.
Yeah.
Because it is insane. This way is a bit more gradual.
Do you feel like you've got like almost like memories of each part of the road?
Oh, yeah.
Years.
Yeah. Yeah, I got so many memories attached to pretty much everything around here. And it's also because, you know, when you grow up somewhere, you also have memories. On one of the previous Together runs, I was talking about a night at the end of year party with my classmates, and I was like 14. And I was talking about like this one mound of grass reminding me of like that moment and what it felt like and how I felt and feeling different. And yeah, so I feel like I've got my running memories, but even my running paths aligned with other memories as well. Wow, it is very windy. I hope this is clear. Okay, we'll do one more stride.
Yeah.
And then the 45-minute group will head off. Okay, we ready?
Yeah, ready to go.
Into the wind. 3, 2, 1. Okay, come to a jog or a walk, 45-minute group. Thank you so much for joining us. Marcus, anything else?
No,
You said it the first time.
Yeah.
All right, friends, we'll see you Friday for an episode and Monday for another one of these. Okay, done.
Awesome.
Now we have our last few stragglers. Although, actually, I think the majority of people do 60 minutes.
Yeah. I think David Goggins is probably laughing. I was like, I'll still be running when you finish running.
Yeah. You go for that, David Goggins. We'll,
Or rest day.
yes. Yeah, no,
Yeah, cool.
So this is what I'm just going to show you and explain it to everyone watching. So we're surrounded by green, just like open fields. I don't even know what these fields are for, actually. But then you can see over across the fields, like the cluster of houses just like piled on top of each other. But that's one of the things I like here, that I can be in amongst that, but I can also come out here really easily and be away from everyone else. Although there's a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
I've talked a lot on my rants about I'm really nervous dog person.
Yeah.
And I think that's because like the amount of dogs that have chased me or bitten me when I've been running. Do you have that?
Yeah, dog.
We might have to pause this conversation because there's a dog with its owner coming right towards us. So let's just pass him and then we'll continue so we don't offend him. Morning. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like, I blame the owners really.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember I had one time where I was in the park, the dog was off its lead, it's running towards me, and the owner's like, you need to stop running. I was like, I need to stop running.
Yeah.
You need to control your dog.
Yeah.
We had a full-blown argument.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Some people are quite good. They stop the dog from going on a lead.
Yep.
But it's really down to the owners, really.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, actually, over here, I've talked about this before. Most people here with their dogs that aren't on a lead, they will be like, the dog will either look up at you and the owner will be like, hey, and then the dog will just stop.
Yeah.
Or the dog doesn't even like look up. It just lets you walk past.
Yeah.
And obviously they've done the training that the dog doesn't chase people.
Yeah.
But in America, I mean, I find even on my run from home, there's so many dogs that like come out and bark at me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really need to stop bringing this up because people are going to think I'm like some dog hater, and I don't hate them.
Yeah.
I just am nervous around them, but it is really windy, so, and this is quite a steep hill, right?
It is.
So this is where I do my, it feels like we're running in a wind tunnel, but we're going down, so soon we're going to be in amongst the houses and it won't be bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one that I used to do quite a lot, and it would just kill me. But
I'm looking back at it, I'm thinking I could understand why.
yeah, it's funny actually. One of the things that like is a memory around here is before I'd run for GB, I would just run up this hill and be like, GB, 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 like just like as a like this is why you're doing this. But it was like it was my carrot.
Yeah.
But like I specifically remember this hill, saying those words in my head, like GB. You know, like why I was doing this. We're going to turn left. But
I have like, I know you talked about a little bit of the mind, sort of the talking, sort of the mental chatter. But do you ever have like an alter ego? Like you hear like you say you turn away like Beyonce is like Sasha Fierce or something like that. You ever like that before you turn into a run or something like that?
Well, I've talked about this before. I do have what I call airport Tina. Let's cross over because this is, let's just get to that grass and then we'll go onto that path.
Okay.
Although actually, no, it's probably quite enough. Let's just stay here. I have what I call airport Tina.
Okay.
And it primarily comes out in the airport, which is why it's that. Because I'm that person, you'll know this from going to America.
Yeah.
When you land in America, the customs line, or the immigration line, is huge.
Yeah.
And to me, every person I can get around before I hit that like queue or line is another person I don't have to wait behind.
Yeah.
So once I get off the plane, I don't push, I don't jump ahead of people while I'm on the plane. But once I get off that plane, I am basically running, like power walking to like overtaking as many people as I can. And I always joke that I'll push like old ladies out of the way to get to the front, which never ends up working, by the way, because I don't know if you notice this, there's always like 6 flights coming in at the same time.
Yep.
So you get to the area where everyone funnels in, and you're like, there's already 500 people here.
What do you do at that point, mate? Do you know when you're walking with someone and you're power walking, they're power walking? Do you break into a run?
I would, yes. Yeah, I definitely think if someone was looking, like especially, let's go right here.
Okay.
Especially if they looked at me.
Yeah.
I think I would I think I would give them the,
Afterburners.
yeah, they're like, oh, you want to play that game? But from all my years as running as a woman where men would, you know, literally come level with them and they look at me and then take off.
Yeah.
I think that kind of instilled that. But yes, so I say it's airport Tina. Like once when I went to Hunger Games to watch, when I went to Hunger Games, you know, I was involved. No, when I went to watch Hunger Games in the cinema,
Yeah.
You know, it was the premiere or the opening night or something.
Yeah.
And I like jumped over some seats.
Yeah.
To get to the seats my friends and I wanted.
Yeah.
And they were all just like, you know, shuffling along the seats behind people.
Yeah.
And I just jumped over. Yeah. And the woman was like, excuse me. So I can be quite rude. So I'd say my alter ego maybe isn't a good person. What about you?
I think, yeah, you do need some sort of personal thing you dive into.
Yeah.
I kind of think about less of like a character, but just more of stuff I've gone through in life. And think, oh, you got through that. So you sort of flip that around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think wherever you got to go to definitely helps.
Yeah, no, that's great. Really good advice. Yeah. So what would you name this alter ego?
Do you know, I haven't got a name for it actually. I know people are like, it must be Marathon Marcus. It's not. I didn't think about that actually. It hasn't got a name, it's just got a feeling.
Okay, come on, what's the word that comes to mind now? And anyone listening, I want you to come up with a word that came to mind for you right now. So when you share this photo, show us what you thought, what it was. Okay, anything coming to mind?
It's just like base level, I guess it's like the bottom, so, and you can only go up, I guess.
Base level, yeah. Marcus. You need to come up with something a bit more catchy than that, my friend.
It's got to be sexy, isn't it?
Yeah. Come on, you work in the world of I hate the word influencer, what's a different one? Content creating. Yeah.
I'll have to come back to that one,
Okay.
Think about it.
Well, we'll see.
Sounds really sad. I don't think about it now. Probably need to actually.
No, I think that's actually a good sign, isn't it? Because we all know someone who is, you know, you're around them and you can see that they're never like with you.
Yeah. Because
they're always like, you know, just looking around or thinking about what they're going to say or what they're going to do. And
yeah.
Someone I was talking to recently about this, but I've talked about it a lot with just how many runs. If you're taking a camera with you or a phone,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, I need to get a picture, but then you end up spending the whole run like, oh, that brick wall might work,
yeah.
Oh, that post might work,
yeah.
And then you end up just not being in your run at all because you're just thinking about posting it afterwards. And that's a problem, obviously, Marcus and I have that most don't, but I think that's what a lot of people in our situation end up in.
Yeah. What do you talk about? Do you know what I mean? How do you say that? Do you know what I mean? All these kind of things. How do you sort of redress the same thing you do every day?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is the final hill. We're going to get to the house maybe a little bit early, so we'll just keep going past the street.
Cool.
We'll come to a walk. Actually, no, let's do our strides now, Marcus. Okay. So you're nice and out of breath from the hill.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, and 1. All right, Marcus is taking off this time. So talking about being competitive.
I'm not trying to beat you.
No, I know you're not. Okay, come to a jog. Keep running, and we'll do one more. Then we'll call it a day. So we'll just. Everyone who can do 60 minutes can keep running in between, and we'll just do one more, and then we'll touch on element of nature and say bye-bye. There's a guy on his paper round. We probably should get around him first.
I think so.
Yeah. I used to do this paper round here. Come on in. Was it just me? He was giving me a look like he knew me.
Yeah.
Did you think that?
Yeah, he's kind of
I wonder
smart.
if he went to my school or something. I hope not. Because like, oh, hi, Tina. I'm like...
I've seen it on Instagram.
No, it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that. All right, let's do our last stride. In 3, 2, and 1. If it was anything, it would be... Because my primary school is literally 100 metres that way.
Yeah.
And my secondary school is like a mile away, so it easily could be. But he was definitely giving a look like he recognised me. So I hope that's not a school friend who I just ignored. All right, let's come to a walk. Are we at an hour? Yes. Okay. See, Marcus, my urge was to say, what are you thankful for? But tell me a reflection on that run, just before you say bye to everyone.
I really like going out, actually, of just like suburbia into like the countryside. Kind of reminds me of some of my runs as well. You kind of feel more connected to the greater world, which is quite nice. So that was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, that was really nice. And I love that it was so quiet as well.
Yeah.
Okay, right, let's touch some element of nature. I'm going to go straight down to the grass. Marcus is touching a tree. We're grounding in, connecting. Thank you so much for joining us today. And when you share that photo of you took, if you didn't take one now. It doesn't matter what your surroundings are. We just want to see who we were running with today. Yeah, we appreciate you. Any last words?
No, thank you for joining us today. It's been an amazing time to run with Tina for the first time as well for me. So it's a bit of a strange one for me because you're trying to take it all in, but it's the first time we've met, so it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Even though we've spoken before.
Yeah.
So that for me, that was a lot of fun. And yeah, if you can, obviously, safely, keep those connections up with people, whether if it's not like physical, but just like virtually. I think just stay connected with people. It's such a tough moment for the last few years, and we just don't know what's going to be happening. So just stay connected with your community. Yeah,
I love that. I appreciate you recognising that. And just quickly tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at The Marathon Marcus. You can find me on my podcast called A Runner's Life. And I'm actually releasing a podcast next Monday where I think people ask me to do an Ask Me Anything, which you've probably done this before. Yeah. So I was probably a little bit too honest with some of the answers, but hey-ho.
Oh, I'm all for that, so love that. Okay, and what's that going to be called?
It's Ask Me Anything episode.
Ask Me
Anything.
Oh, it's an episode on a runner's life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's not a new podcast?
No. So
okay, great. I can't wait to hear that.
Through, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you Friday for a regular episode.
It's cool.
Yeah. Hi friends, just a quick message to say a big thank you to the Running for Real team. While I may be the face of Running for Real and the voice behind the podcast, there are a group of people who are working tirelessly to provide everything that runners could need within our community to make our community stronger, better, and evolve and grow and learn from one another. We are working really hard to make Running for Real the place we believe it can be within our community. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone on our team. That is Victoria, Stacey, Sandy, Sally, Maria, Kelsey, Kat, Jeremy, and Erica. I appreciate each and every one of you and the hard work that you put in. Now let's get back to the show.